I've seen a lot of videos online about upgraded skill trees, but they're usually about PvP. I'm going to share my PvE skill tree, what I think to be the best, covering all of the best skills and getting a nice spread across all three trees. Keep in mind, this is if you have 86 points. So this is after doing both of the expeditions. And I'm going to be showing you what I would unlock first as I level up, so that you can kind of think about what to prioritize early game. There are two ways to do this as we sort of start a new account. You could either absolutely speedrun Security Breach. If you are playing at the start of an expedition, this could be a really good thing to do. But if you can't manage to do that, then you may as well start by getting these three skills in mobility. In my opinion, these are some of the most important in the game. They're pretty straightforward. You can climb and vault more quickly. You're going to need to get this anyway, just to unlock this skill path. And you need 15 points in here as well. So, yeah, we're going to go for that. And these two are, without a doubt, the most important movement skills in the game. Increase your max stamina, and moving around costs less stamina. You will always be fighting for more stamina in Arc Raiders, so you absolutely should go down this path, in my opinion. And I'll talk about why I don't really bother with the other side. This side here, you can slide further and faster. Really messes with me personally. It means that you're going to slide out of cover. A lot of the times, you kind of build up this muscle memory for how far you're going to slide. You put points into this, and you slide far further than you'd expect. I don't really like it. You take less damage when falling from a non-lethal height. I'm pretty sure this is very negligible, and we want to go down this way anyway and limit the amount of points we're putting in mobility, because we want to get the points up here. We don't really want them down here. It's better to prioritize this side, so we get this unlocked so we can get this skill tree unlocked, this second section. Now, before we go any further, what I would do actually is start going down here. And in fact, I would probably put one skill in Nimble Climber and then max these two out. So we'd only have about 14 points in here before we then start going down into the survival tree. And this is where I would focus immediately. Your movement speed while crouching is increased is pretty, in my opinion, pretty useless. These next two are really, really good, though. When search a container, loot is revealed faster. I would definitely max that out. And once again, we want to get into this next section anyway. So the skills we choose down here, we need to get at least 15 points. Stamina regeneration while crouch is increased. I think the difference is very, very small. But we do need to go into this tree here to be able to get in-round field crafting, which is absolutely recommended. You make less noise when looting. This is the audible distance that other people will be able to hear you, or at least the audible sound other people will be able to hear you at different distances, and it's pretty minimal as well. From my experience, I feel like these are the better skills here, but it's not a massive deal. You're going to need to put 1 point in here just to go down this path anyway, and then you may as well just get the 3 points there. At this point, it's pretty much a game of just getting as enough points as possible to get Security Breach. In my opinion, this is still the best skill in the game. Most skills in Arc Raiders are pretty... They provide very little difference. It's extremely little for the most part. But Security Breach consistently gives you more loot time and time again. And at the current state of Security Breach, they've been through nerfs, they've been through changes. Currently, they're actually in a pretty good state. There are randomized spawns now, but there are more spawns than there were in the past. So on average, I feel like you're seeing round about the same amount of Security Breach containers as you would when the game first came out. And sometimes you see even more. The loot inside has been pretty good. You're getting epic weapons from time to time. You're getting a lot of explosives, including wolf packs. You get crafting materials for weapons, which is nice. You get grenades, and you also get blueprints as well. They've added the Raider-style blueprints back in, so that's like the weapon guns parts, the anvil, Venator, Osprey, etc. Pretty rare, I must say, but it does happen. So anyway, while critically hurt, your movement makes less noise, and you've also got good as new, while under a healing effect, stamina regeneration is increased. I think this is a really good skill, and it can be paired with, say, running some fabric so that you can have a healing effect that lasts a really long time that's really cheap to use, so you can get a faster stamina regen. It's actually quite a good skill. This one isn't so important, but you kind of need to get it anyway to unlock that skill path. Broad shoulders increases the maximum weight you can carry. It's absolutely really, really good. So I would focus on maxing out that as soon as possible. You've also got Raider scraps. When looting at Raider containers, you have a small chance of finding additional field crafted items. This can be things like herbal bandages, and I think it can be quite a nice addition to the amount of items you will end up collecting. Raider containers, I think, gets a lot of people confused and tripped over. This is going to be Raider backpacks, med bags, security lockers, in fact, and uncovered caches mostly. So you're going to get more meds. If you do a loot run on like a uncovered caches event, it's going to end up ending up being pretty good. So what I would usually do is get this one, Traveling Tinkerer, and then I would max this one, Looter's Luck. While looting, there's a chance to reveal twice as many items at once. This speeds up the time it takes to loot a container by quite a lot. You'll see it in action as you loot containers once it's unlocked. And now you still need some more points in the skill tree. So I usually would max out one Raider scraps. And then once you've got that to 33, it's kind of just a case of, okay, where do I want to put it? I've never really gone for this. 3 deep breaths. After an ability drains your stamina, you recover more quickly. I don't know. I haven't really tested it. Usually what I'll end up doing is just putting it in here just so I can get the points. And then it's just one more. I think maybe we could try to experiment with these. But the last point is pretty much just put it wherever you want. And then most importantly, you get your security breach, which is certainly the best skill in the game, especially for a PVE player. Now, once I've got that, I'll usually come down to here and get this. Wearing a shield doesn't slow you down as much. If you've got a light shield, it doesn't matter. But for medium and heavy shield, this is a pretty good skill. It's going to make running medium shields like pretty much similar to running light shields in terms of movement speed. And then what is good in here is proficient prior. Breaching doors and containers takes less time. This is definitely a skill worth grabbing. So once I've got security breach, I'll look at maxing that out as well. And then it's kind of the same story of you need to get 15 points in here to unlock the rest of the skill tree. Your hearing is less affected by nearby explosion. I think is not really that much of a deal. You make less noise when breaching. Once again, this is more like PvE oriented, so it doesn't really matter much. When you're hurt in combat, regain a fixed amount of stamina. Has a cooldown between uses. To me, this seems to make the most amount of sense in terms of like doing a PvE build. We just need to get those points down anyway. And then when you're critically hurt, your stamina regenerates faster. And if your shield breaks, your first dodge roll within a few seconds does not cost stamina. Both of these, this one's like, it kind of feels like more of like a PvP skill. You don't have to go for this one because I personally don't go for effortless swing. And I don't go for sky clearing swing. What I'll do instead is get survivor stamina and then immediately work on a little extra. I'm not too bothered about this. It's kind of nice. Sometimes you get springs when you breach stuff. If you breach couriers and probes, you actually get more arc circuitry, which is pretty cool. But overall, it doesn't make a massive difference. This one is really good, though. Your equipped weapon has less impact on your encumbrance. This is going to help massively. This is one of the highlight skills of the conditioning tree. This is another one. And then, in my opinion, Turtle Crawl is quite good and downed but determined. When you're down, it takes longer before you collapse. A lot of the time, you will lose your gear in PvE because you get killed by an arc and you just can't quite extract to the hatch, wherever it may be. Also, this can be quite useful. Sometimes when you get downed, you might get a stray rocket from a rocketeer or a matriarch or whatever if there are other players kind of nearby, and that can kill you. So this can save you. So I usually max out Turtle Crawl, right? And then it's kind of like a case of going back to this skill tree here. Carry the momentum. After a sprint dodge roll, sprinting does not consume stamina for a short time. Has a cooldown between uses. Not a terrible skill. I do like to grab that. And then we've also got here crawl before you walk and effortless roll. Dodge rolls cost less stamina. With this maxed out, I think it's pretty decent. and when you're down to crawl faster. I'm not actually sure on the overall results of that. I don't know. So what I would usually do is max this out first. And then you're kind of sitting at like a few skill points left. And at this point, I usually try to go for this one. I don't really care about Heroic Leap too much. So what I'll do is I'll get this and then unlock that. And I'll put the last skill in here. So this is my full skill tree. I just want to point out the highlight things, which in my opinion are the most important thing to focus on. Security Breach number 1. Honestly, you're going to come along and getting around crafting and traveling tinkerer and looter's luck and looter's instinct in the survival tree. I think that's a really important set of skills there. For here, use to the weight, super useful. Proficient priors, pretty useful as well. A little extra can be nice, you know, especially if you like to do arc, probe, and courier runs. Personally, I feel like that's the best benefit for it, getting a bit more arc circuitry and arc parts as you loot. Loaded arms, super important. I think turtle claw is pretty good, and I also think, well, that's about it in this tree. So loaded arms is the number 1 thing. Used to the weight, number 1. So these two, and you kind of have to put the point somewhere to get to this one, and it ends up being a little extra. Survivor stamina, and on this side, I don't really go for too much. Proficient priors, definitely 5 out of 5 there. Turtle crawl, I've got 5 out of 5. Like I say, that can sometimes save your life because you do take damage whilst you're down occasionally in PVE. It does happen, you know, explosions, fire, etc. Nimble climber, really quite nice. These two are the most important in mobility. Youthful lungs and marathon runners, you've got more stamina. And carry the momentum, you want to take that one. And then effortless roll, which I think is the most important in this one as well. And vigorous vaulter. Vaulting is no longer slowed down whilst exhausted. If I had more skill points, I'll probably max this out. And I don't really know about this. I'm quite curious about that, how useful it is. For the most part, though, all of these skills are very negligible. They don't make a massive difference in gameplay. We're talking like very small percentages of differences here. But this is my skill tree, what I do, focused on PvE. What are your thoughts? What would your skill tree be? And I'll see you all in the comments. Cheerio.